Obviously, if you follow us as closely as you guys do, we've had now 2 weeks where, from a consistency standpoint, we played Maryland and Nebraska, and I thought our defense took strides in the right direction. I thought we were really good on that end. I thought we took a step back this past week defensively. Offensively, I thought we took a step forward. I thought that our execution was about as good as it's been. Our screening was good. I thought we cut hard. I thought we made better decisions. I thought, we played really well together, took care of the ball, shot the ball well, was very efficient. Had 2 back-to-back Big Ten games at over a point per possession. That hasn't happened here since year 1. So I thought we did some good things there that we've got to continue to build on, but we've got to find a way to impact the game defensively. Our efficiency defensively in the 6 Big Ten games is just not good enough, in terms of what our standards are. So we've got to figure out how to impact that end more. Obviously, we head into a game tomorrow that's complete 180 of the game we just played a couple days ago from the standpoint of Indiana plays small. You could justifiably and debatably say one of the smallest teams in the country. Over the course of the 40 minutes, they're playing 5 guards, and that poses obviously some different challenges. Tomorrow, we're playing a team that's 1 of 4 in America that has 2 7-footers, and so that's different. They're also big at the other positions. They have a 6'4" point guard in Octius and a 6'6" 2 guard in Kendall Stevens. They're 3-man's rugged, athletic, tough kid in Davis, who's about 6'6". So they've got great size. So they're 4-man, 6'7". Edwards, a freshman who had a great non-conference, is very skilled, reminds me in a lot of ways of Malcolm Hill. So they're big, very big, probably one of the biggest teams in all of college basketball. So complete 180 in that regard. Obviously we've got to do a good job competing on the backboard when you play against a team that has that type of size. And, we certainly got to emphasize that. And we got to continue to play like we played offensively and make growth movements there like I think we have over the last week or so. But at the end of the day, for us, we have to defend better, than what we defended last week. Questions?
You focused on defense. What have been the issues?
You name it, Jeremy, this past week. Obviously Indiana's, them and Villanova, the 2 best offensive teams we played all year statistically. And, that's certainly a part of it. I thought Northwestern was one of the best execution teams in terms of running their stuff, screening, cutting. So, we played 2 difficult teams to defend back-to-back. So I certainly don't want to take anything away from the opponent. Obviously, I recognize that they are good offensively, but, we've got to impact field goal percentage, 2-point field goal percentage better, 3-point field goal percentage better. I do think the one constant that's been pretty good for us, knock on wood, has been that we defensive rebounded the ball well. I think we're top, whatever we are, 30 to 35 in the country. So that's a good quality to have. The other day, the ones we gave up I thought were timely, but for them, but at the end of the day, we still got 72% back. We did a good job there. I think finding a way to impact that field goal percentage. You don't want teams to shoot. I think they're shooting 45+ overall, 39+ on threes. Your offense better be really good, to overcome that night in and night out.
You're switching from man to zone. You're using the new lineups. Is there some confusion in trying to orchestrate all that together?
We don't have any excuses, Tough. Obviously, experience is a great teacher. You've heard me say that before. And are we playing lineups right now that you guys are smart guys. You see it. Your scores, we're playing lineups that are different than what we played prior. But we're not going to use that as an excuse. We got to figure it out. Regardless of what defense that we're in, we've got to impact the game better defensively than what we're doing right now. But yeah, certainly seasoning and experience and all those things certainly help. There's no question about that. We don't have that luxury, right now. So we've got to figure it out here pretty quickly. We got a game tomorrow night, and we got another one coming in a couple days, and that's just kind of the way it is.
You talked the other night about the feeling healthy, feeling right. He had kind of rough off-season. He's coming out now.
He is, Jim. He basically had no off-season. That's what's scary. I shouldn't say that. He worked hard on rehabbing and all that, so I don't want to come across like he is. Of course he worked. He's a hard worker. But when I say no off-season, not a lot of lower body lifting. not as much or different types of skill workouts than the other guys that weren't maybe as taxing on the lower body as we brought the knee back. Paul did a great job. Doc did a great job. He feels great right now. His conditioning is on par for this time last year, basically about the same. He feels really good health-wise. And obviously that was our number one concern in the off season as we put him through that, the regimen he went through to bring his body back. And to Paul and the doc, and his credit, they got it done, And now his upper body got bigger because he was able to lift. I think you can see that. He's gained weight. But I'm excited about how he's playing, knowing that, Lord willing, he stays healthy, and that when we get into the off season, he can have a legit off season. I think that will, continue to make him even better.
There was some talk after I think he replied that the ball in the flow of the game, and he didn't get some shots.
Yeah.
What can a coach do, when you got a guy that was obviously hot?
Yeah.
How can you translate that on the court?
Well, he did a good job of playing within the flow of the game. I'd agree with that, Lauren. I thought he did. I don't. Kendrick's not one of those guys that necessarily, we draw things up for him. We did that last week, and I thought he took advantage of that. We'll continue to do that. He has a gift to score. Kendrick's not a pig the way he plays. I mean, he just kind of plays the game the right way, played it within the flow of the game. I have, in terms of, late game, people have asked about that. I mean, I said last night on my radio show, I knew exactly what we were running on the side out before the game even tipped. We got the ball to Malcolm Hill in the mid post, on an isolated side, about 17 feet away from the basket. And, he'll be the first to tell you. He probably panicked a little bit. A guy came at 6'1" and trapped him. I mean, he's not 7 foot, and he jumped up in the air, and he'd like to have that play over. I believe in Malcolm, and I know our guys do too, to score the ball. We got it right where we wanted it. We just didn't make a good play there. He had a wide open three that could have tied it. Hill did, not challenged at all, and he missed it. So I'm going to live with that. Black's layup was a pretty decent shot. It was a layup. So we just didn't make a few of those plays that I think our guys are certainly capable of making. Obviously the fact that Kendrick was hot and didn't get some of those shots, towards the end, I'm not as concerned about that as long as our team gets a quality shot, and I thought we did. You're not going to get much better in the layup, and we had that on that possession, and then we turned it over on the other one, and we just didn't make as many plays as they did late in the game, and that was the difference late.
Nana did have his best game against Indiana. Was it more matchup with them and being small, or is it just the fact that he just didn't play very well?
That may have had something more to do with it, Marcus, than what I originally thought, having watched the film. I think maybe a little bit. But at the end of the day, defensively, he made a few more mistakes than he normally makes. I think he'd be the first to tell you that. And, he wanted to offensive rebound so bad in the second half. He had 5 fouls in 17 minutes, and 3 of them were on offensive rebound attempts. And they were fouls. I'm not saying they weren't. They were. He doesn't have a better technique. I think he, wanted to use his size advantage so much. You got to use your, lower body and your legs to offensive rebound and get position. And he needs to do a better job of that. He's watched the clips. He understands that. Nan's the type of guy that takes those things personal because he wants to help his team so badly, be competitive and have an opportunity to win. So, he was in early yesterday watching film, and he'll figure it out. He'll play better. He's already played better. It's just kind of one of those games. But other guys on our team have had games like that. That's the thing. Other guys have to step up. I thought Stark stepped up. I thought Nunn stepped up. I thought Black was really good in the minutes that he played. So we got some contributions from enough guys, certainly on the offensive end. I just thought defensively, you give up 31 points in transition, it's going to be tough to win. And I went into halftime amazed we were only down by 4. You're giving up 24 at that point. Usually you give up 24 points in transition in 20 minutes, you're down 20 plus. I thought our guys did a good job of fighting back from close to double-digit deficits twice. They did it twice as well. It was a heck of a game. Like I said last night on the radio show, if you didn't care who won, it was an enjoyable game to watch. Unfortunately, we care.
These Nance closing in on blocks? Is that something you give much thought to?
No, I just wanted to be disciplined and not, hunting wise shot block opportunities. Not getting caught up in that. I had a kid a few years ago when I was in Ohio. I was about ready to break the 3-point record, and he was a pretty tough kid, but it weighed on him a little bit as people were talking about stuff. I want Nana to get them within the flow of what we do defensively. Obviously, he has a gift there, but I don't want him coming out, trying to block 3-point shots and running around like a chicken with his head cut off. You got to have some purpose. The other day I thought he overhelped a little bit here and there. So we're trying to get that corrected.
It's not often that team has one 7-foot this offensive skill. They
Yeah.
have 2 of them. They kind of switch them out. What's the challenging for that?
Well, obviously they're huge, Jeremy. They're big. They do a great job of establishing post position early. They do their work early and put you in position where you've got to do your work early defensively. If you wait to play defense against those guys until they've caught the ball, you're done. It's like Nerf hoop. They're like watching Cam at home. So you've got to do your work early against those guys, and that's easier said than done. They're big, they're skilled, they're good. They've got good hands, they've got good touch, they've got moves and counter moves. And Hammond's just really improved his body, at least from, I'm not there every day, and just my opinion, watch it, looking at his body from the past 2 years coaching against him, and those two are a load.
Is it harder to find ready, skilled bigs than it used to be?
Seems on the question. I think the game, just the fact that I just said that it's one of 4 teams that have 2 7-footers, you have to do the research, I don't know, but my guess is even 5 years ago, that might be a different stat. They're not all over the place, but there's probably more than 4 teams. And the game's changed. The game's changed. 3-point line, speed, guard play, small ball. There's a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons. More pick and roll now than there used to be, Jeremy. There used to be more off-ball screening, motion, those type of things. Now everybody gets pick and rolls, Sometimes, I remember not too long ago when people would make a big deal about how teams would get Shaq away from the basket with pick and rolls. Well, now almost everybody's running pick and roll now, So I just think the game's changed.
So I want to talk about the big picture, back to that year 3 thing from a couple of weeks ago. Lost 4 out of 6 conference wins. On the other hand, you had a recruit in the house that you can't talk about the other day who would be possibly perceived as a game-changing recruit. So getting back to that Cliff Alexander thing in this room where you made a statement about the health of the program.
Sure.
About the health of the program.
Well, obviously with some of the things we went through this year, you can control what you can control, and I'm stating the obvious. There's certain things you can't control. It is what it is. Tuck was alluding to it earlier with the dynamic of changing roster and, playing, did I plan at the beginning of the year to play Starks and Tate together a whole lot? No. Laurent Black going to play 5? Probably not. There's a lot of things happening that make that thing very, very fluid. The one thing that we've tried to do, certainly when you're in those situations, when you get dealt cards, is play those cards, not panic, stay poised, continue to do what we do, follow the blueprint. Those things get thrown on our plate for a reason. We believe I personally believe myself that God gives you those things for a reason. You have to be able to deal with those things, and that's part of life and part of ball. So, but that goes in terms of this season, what our thoughts are. We're doing the very best we can to put 5 guys out there and have schemes on offense and defense that give us a chance to be competitive, within what we have. I think that's a coach's job. But in terms of long term, to be honest with you, I'm so much in the battle right now on every day, preparing for practice. That's what I was doing before I came over here, changing practice, focusing on Purdue. But nothing has changed for me long term. I don't think necessarily, I do take time to think long term, but usually during the season, it's about what's best for our guys that I'm coaching, game by game, day by day. Our mission of where we're going has not changed. Our belief in that has not changed. Our blueprint has not changed. You have to adjust and wrinkle, based on some things that have happened with this year, our roster, and adjust maybe your style of play. And, you learn things as you move along the way, whether it's learning in recruiting, whether it's learning in, game management, player management, your roster. I mean, those things are always fluid, Rob. But the core of what we do and how we do things has not changed. Our standards have not changed. We believe in where we're going. Sometimes you have to take maybe a fork in the road and get back on, at another intersection, so to speak. And that's what we're doing. Our eyes are clearly on the prize, and that's not changed.
We
did it the other day. I mean, I thought he did a good job with it. Obviously, they were atypically small, Jeremy, as you saw. I mean, they had Troy Williams at the 5-some, and we needed to get Nana below here and there. We played him at the 5. Laurent did a pretty good job of adapting. Our guys did as well. And just I would at this point for us with the situation that we're in, certainly not making any excuses, but all options are open at this point. I mean, we're willing to. That's our job. I mean, we're willing to consider anything that would make our team better. For me to sit back and say A, B, C, and D aren't here as planned, I'm not changing anything. I think that's foolish. I mean, of course, that's 4 guys. I can't. I can't be that stubborn. You know what I mean? I would, if I'm Nana Eglu and he's the senior, and I can figure out a better way, or Ahmad Starks or Ray, and this is kind of their last go round. Like I would expect, hopefully, my coach would do the very best he could to adapt and change and give us the best chance to be competitive and win games. And we owe that to those guys. So we're fighting, and I said earlier too, and our crowd I think has been a huge deal. It was a huge deal in the Maryland game. It was a huge deal on Sunday, and I just really appreciate them. I always do, and I think they've been great over 3 years, Jeremy. But I just think they sense like, hey, man, guys are fighting. Like, they've had some cards dealt to them, and we're fighting. We are, and we don't have any excuses. And we're going to keep battling and moving forward. But the crowd has been a big difference. I thought it helped us win the Maryland game for sure. And I thought the other day it was a big part of a couple of those comebacks. We were down 10-ish points twice. So we really appreciate the Crush is coming back today, which will be great. Today school started, so it'll be great to get those guys back in there. And they mean a lot. I mean, they do. Right now we need that 6-man, and they've been really good to us.
Luminere's playing at Parkland on Saturday. Any chance you get back from Minnesota in time?
I don't think so, based on the schedule. Obviously, I've seen Jalen play, several times, and I would love to be there, but obviously we got a game, and he knows that we got to travel and get to and from. But we'll see if I can catch like what's the President's jet, Air Force. Yeah, I don't know if that's maybe get back here like speed of light. I'd love to see it. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'd love to.
You have not had Air Force One.
We've not yet. No, that is definitely true. And not to pick on we've had inclement weather and mechanical problems. What else we had? Harbaugh. We've kind of seen it all at this point.
It's a nice man for the fans to have one of your guys playing in your backyard.
Oh, sure. I mean, anytime we get him here locally, it's great. He's such a great kid, too, man. He's not only a really good player, great kid. So it's great to have him here, and hopefully the people that are in and around Champaign County this weekend will go support him and watch him play. Going well. His hand is swelling's going down. He's went back to the doctor. Looks great. Yesterday he's out there shooting a little bit one-handed, but moving around a little bit more. It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow, and I would say it's, from everything Schmidt's telling me, I mean, I think it's on track, or hopefully we can get it ahead a little bit as we continue an aggressive approach with it. Doc's been great, and Chinese been great, so Ray will let us know when Ray's ready, and obviously with the doctors and Schmidt, we're not going to let him go out there and hurt. He like to play the other day, but within reason, I think his body will be telling him, and the doctors will be telling us whether or not they think it's, hey, he's good to go, he can start to be cleared for some contact, and we're just going to follow their lead.
Help anybody's just non-shooting hand.
Oh, sure, Tuck. Yeah, no question. Yeah, the outside of the non-shooting hand, I think both those things, outside and up the non-shooting hand, sure. If you're trying to make lemonades out of lemons, that's a pretty positive way to look at it.
Tracy doing it.
Great. You know, they're doing a great job. Very vocal during games. I think this has been a great experience for him. Obviously, we'd love to have him out there because he's tough on tough. But, you know, I think he's learned a lot watching. He sees different things now. I think it's given him a bigger picture perspective. I think he's really worked hard to connect with his teammates, understanding that when you're a leader that everybody's different. You have to communicate with guys differently, touch people differently. Not everybody's the same. Like he's really grown a great deal. He also went back to the doctor here recently when we were up in the Evanston area, and that went well too. He looks good, so we're encouraged by that.
The pregame introduction to smoke machine. Do you have anything to say about that?
About what, Tim? I'm sorry?
The pregame introduction to the smoke, or pregame we run for the smoke machine. Fireworks.
We have a smoke machine.
Yeah. We're not out there yet. Yeah, fireworks now.
Really? Are you behind that, DB?
Oh, my.
No, I honestly had no idea. Yeah, no idea. So I let those guys, you know, game management and, you know, marketing and all those people, they run with that. I trust their judgment. You know, we have a great staff there, and I like our approach. We're pretty aggressive with those type of things, and so I just kind of let them run with it, Jim. I try to stay in my lane.
Is that a thing on different for that?
Yeah.
Was there any assessment about like the smoke when the crowd responds?
We'll take care of Coach here. Well, yeah, Coach's press conference.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything back from the phone lines?
Yeah, this is Shannon. I just wanted to follow up about LeRon. I know you've talked about how it's coming together for him, how he's making fewer mistakes. I'm just wondering if you could talk a little specifically about, you know, what mistakes he's making less of. Was it just a matter of the game kind of soaking in for him? Maybe talk about just the process he's gone through.
Well, I think when you talk about mistakes, Shannon, for me and most coaches, I think, you know, defensively and then taking care of the ball. And I think he's done a much better job of both of those things. You know, he still made some the other day. Here's the difference. The difference now is when he makes them, he knows he makes them, and he can tell you right at the time, most of the time, or watching the film and saying, yeah, I blew that one right there. I should have done A. Like, he would have never been able to say that 2 months ago, you know. So I think he's starting to understand, like, the value of possessions. That's oftentimes a different deal for a freshman coming in, you know, where every possession is valued at the same level. And right now he is making less mistakes. And I think he'll tell you even the other day, like, man, I didn't realize I made that many the other day. He did play more minutes. He's always been able to rebound per minute play. He's always had great touch around the basket. He always plays with great energy and effort. So now, once he's started to understand what's going on, obviously he's had a chance to earn more minutes. And I thought he made the most of his minutes the other day. We're still trying to clean up some things, get him to see some things, awareness and adjusting on defense, and he's really coming on. So, and it couldn't happen to a better kid. And he's competitive. I love him. He communicates. He's tough. You know, so you know, he's a big part of. I think as we continue to move forward, for us to have a chance to be as good as we can be, regardless of who we have on the roster, he's a big part of that. So, you know, and not only this year but moving forward. So I'm excited about his development and growth.
Just one more for me is what do you want to see maybe more of from Maverick in his minutes?
You know, Matt played probably better than I even thought the other day during the game. Obviously, the other day's game was a very difficult game from a matchup perspective for him. You know, that was about as small a team as you'll see. And even with that, you know, he played, watching the film, a little bit better than even my gut told me, and we probably could have played him a little bit more. I would say finishing, Shannon, would be something around the basket a little bit better. Defensively, he's been pretty good. And then screening, he has a real gift. We played Northwestern the other day. I thought a handful plus of the baskets we scored will result his ability to screen and get our guys open. So once again, kind of another area that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Continuing to be physical, challenging him to communicate more which is a challenge for all these guys in this day and age, to communicate, challenging him to communicate, to be more vocal, to do it with more presence, to be more convicted with his communication. But, those are some of the things we're talking about with him. And, obviously, we head into tomorrow's game with 2 7-footers. So, I hope he gets his rest tonight.
Thanks.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, guys.